Sadia. Okay. Good morning, class. My name is Mr. Elias, and I'm taking you through um, construction materials. And so,
Good
without
morning.
further ado, have you ever seen some of these materials that are used in construction? Maybe, uh, maybe for piping and PVC, for piping of the waste, for the piping of uh, watering conduits. And so this is what we shall be going through, materials. And so we shall be studying more about plastics and a common manufacturing method of plastics, which is called transfer molding. And so I'd just like to present to you what I have here to take us through um, what you're going to be learning today on transfer molding. Yes, I hope you can see my screen. Is visible? So we're going to learn about manufacturing of plastics.
Yes.
And so we're continuing with the topic on manufacturing of plastics, which is transfer molding. And so these are our objectives today. What is transfer molding? The advantages of transfer molding. Then we shall finish with the disadvantages of transfer molding. Let me see if I can have it full screen. Yes, there we go. Uh-huh. So for introduction, plastics are materials that contain carbon and hydrogen made from raw materials like oil through polymerization of raw materials, resulting in a product called a monomer. And this monomer is now what is the base material for what allows us to create plastics. That is something that we learned from the previous lesson, so I saw we should highlight that. And so now we shall get to transfer molding. I don't know if some of you have been able to. Ah, my goodness, this my slides are acting up. Sorry for that. Yes, transfer molding. I don't know if any of you have heard about it. Yes, transfer molding. So it's a simple process. It is where the plastic blank, as we call it, is loaded into a loading chamber. Now, when that plastic is loaded there, it is preheated using various mechanisms in the in that transfer mold in that transfer mold chamber. And so when the rubber or the charge is loaded, I think we can have a view here. When that charge is loaded, we have a plunger which now presses on the charge, and so that charge or the rubber is majorly preheated so as to allow that rubber to flow easily through the sprues or the connecting chambers to where the mold is located, as you can see it there. And so on this other photo you shall see uh, when now the rubber is pressed, it is forced through these connecting chambers or connecting lines into the molds. And so transfer molding is now where that particular charge or rubber, as you can see in this other photo, is pressed through, and now it is now loaded into several chambers. That is the uniqueness of transfer molding. And so the uniqueness about transfer molding is that a flash is not formed. As you continue, you shall see what a flash is, and we can be able to highlight on that. So far, is there any question? Yeah, I think you can go through the process. So as you have said, the rubber is squeezed out of the loading chamber by means of the closing mechanism of the press itself, or with separate pistons into each respective cavity, as we have seen here. This cavity is over here, this over here, this over here. So they may have different shapes, or they may have just the same shape. Okay. So, provided that since the rubber is forced to flow through the channels and gates, preheating takes place in the rubber. The preheating significantly reduces the curing time. So, the curing time is the time that it takes for that particular shape or mold to form. So, as you continue, provided the injection pressure does not exceed the closing pressure of the mold, a well-balanced dosage of rubber into each cavity will be obtained, and the formation of flash will be reduced to a minimum. So for those who have worked with some of these plastics in construction, you may find an extension that does not align or does not add up to the actual piece or the actual plastic that you wanted. And so that extra part is what we call the flash. Any questions so far? Okay. I'd like one of us to take us through the advantages of transfer molding. Uh, who is there to read for us? Are you there, Musembi? Can you just read for us one or two of the advantages of transfer molding?
Advantages.
Can you see them? Oh, sorry. They have made. Oh, sorry for that. Yes.
The advantages of transfer molding. The first one is the preparation of blanks and their handling is made considerably.
Uh huh. Uh huh. The next one.
Considerably easier. Yeah. The second one, the preheating of the rubber reduces the curing time.
Yes, you've seen that as it is preheated, it allows the rubber to be easily molded into the particular cavities that have been provided. Number three.
Number three, since the rubber is preheated, it flows easier and fills the mold cavities more efficiently.
Yes, it's just what we have shared from that. Number four.
The mold is closed when the rubber is injected into the cavities, which means that less flash is formed and smaller dimensional variations of the product are obtained.
Yes. So let me just show you guys what the flash is. If you can see from the next slide, the flash is that extra plastic that is formed, as you can see here. So it does not add to the function of the plastic, and so it is not required by the. It is a flaw or a mistake in the manufacturing of the particular product. And so, as you can see here, there is a flash, and so which does not really add to the function of the particular and of the particular plastic formation, and so it is an error in the manufacturing process. And so when you do the transfer molding, it reduces the formation of this particular deformity, which we call the flash. You can read first the last one, Musembi.
The last one, number 5, for rubber metal bonding, the rubber makes better contact with the metal in the form of a new and fresh, clean surface.
Yes. Thank you so much. Those are the advantages of transfer molding. Yes, there we have the flash. Okay, I can take you through the disadvantages. So yes, you can mute Musembi. The molds are more complicated and more expensive. So with the aim of not getting a flash in the items or in the objects, it may mean for a more complicated process, which can be very expensive. Parts with textile inserts cannot be produced since the because of course we're looking for particular molds. The textile inserts cannot be produced. Finally, the model requires materials that are relatively simple to process. As we have seen in our molds, uh, they have to be very specific kinds of cavities being formed. If we are using this process, we cannot have complex shapes. The kind of complex shapes that we can have, you can see in this other diagram, they have to be very also very mundane or just very normal. Yeah. Yes. And so now we are to finish on our topic summary. So, what is transfer molding? Transfer molding is a unique method of manufacturing plastics, and since it uses multiple cavities, it is even an equal injection of the rubber mold. So, something else we've seen about this process is that the rubber is preheated, which also reduces the curing time. So we have seen a key advantage of this process is that it uses less flash. Less flash is formed in the process as the mold is closed when the rubber is being injected into the cavity. One major disadvantage of the method is that it's expensive and complicated. And so there we see what transfer molding is, and yes, the whole process of transfer molding in the manufacturing of plastics. Are there any questions on this topic?
No.
Good. So I can see everything is okay. Thank you guys for coming for my lesson. I hope everything is good. Have a wonderful time and see you in the next lesson.